Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Becca's Backyard, where I share my inside thoughts with you outside, right here in my backyard. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this week, about some of the things that I've been struggling with this week. I don't know if other people have this, but for me, one of my major challenges in terms of my autism is my sensory stuff. So as the seasons change and I have to change the kind of clothes that I'm wearing, I go through a period of a lot of discomfort, like just trying to get into the clothes of the season, if that makes sense. So like for me, something I struggle with clothes, I struggle a lot with waistbands, and especially the feel of certain fabrics and things. It's taken me a really long time to figure out which ones work and which ones don't, and all of that fun stuff. But I've always lived in a place where the seasons change, so I've always had to kind of go with the layers and change up. So while it's really, really convenient for me to have some kind of uniform that works for me in different variations, it's great until the seasons change. And then I'm really comfortable in my uniform, and the seasons change and I have to adjust or switch uniforms. So I'm in a period of that right now. So it went from being summer, which is my least favorite season in terms of it being hot, but my favorite season in terms of the clothes. I get to wear a lot of dresses, and that means a lot less waistbands. I like not having my arms covered a lot, and so that's nice in the summertime. And then the transition into fall and winter gets complicated because, of course, I have to start covering my feet, and I love my bare feet. And then I have to start thinking about pants and waistbands. And I also have to start thinking about layers and my least favorite thing, which are coats. As a kid, I remember all the layers of coats and feeling frozen like a robot and not being able to move like that. And that's what coats make me think of. So I'm a big fan of vests. That's a good deal. I like having my arms free. I don't like feeling that. And I'd rather wear a bunch of soft layers rather than a coat, actually. So I struggle kind of in this season, and I especially struggle with work clothes at this time of year. So that's something I've been kind of hemming and hawing about for the last week or so. What do I wear? What am I going to wear? And it's not a question of style, and it's not a question of being kind of in fashion or out of fashion. It's that it takes so much work to find something that's comfortable for me to wear, that allows me to think and function for a whole day, and that's also socially acceptable for whatever it is that I have to do. So it's a struggle, and I've had quite a few meltdowns as an adult about clothing and whether I can tolerate them, and on days that I can't. Certainly, the more stressed out I get, the less comfortable clothes are, and certainly, the longer I have to be in something uncomfortable, the less tolerant I become to it, across time, as I think it would be for anybody. But it's very annoying to me because I know that there's something that I can do about it, and yet every season it's a struggle about what can I wear again, what do I have to get new, and just literally getting my body used to putting pants on, and what that feels like. And I try to say to myself, yes, but with all of this comes hoodie season, and yes, hoodie season is easily my favorite. I love it. If only because some of the time you can get away without putting a bra on, because my bra is my arch enemy all the time. Yeah, so it's been sort of a clothing struggle about being work appropriate, being comfortable, making those accommodations for myself, but making sure that I'm still thinking about what it is that I have to do. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd like to do everything in my pajamas. I think best in my pajamas, but I can't do that, at least not, in terms of work and stuff. So yeah, I've been cranky about that. So I thought I would talk about it. So I want to talk about another thing too, which is around this time of year, so we're sort of in November, I start to think about next year. And I know the holidays come up, and that's sort of it's a really uncomfortable time for me. And one of the ways that I try to make myself comfortable and make use of that time for myself is to do a little planning for the year coming up. So sort of right after you get through the holidays, there it is, New Year's Eve, and everyone's thinking about resolutions, right? I'm not a big believer in resolutions. I don't think people stick to them, and I think they're usually silly-ish to me, because people don't take them so seriously. So even when you call it a resolution to yourself, you kind of know resolutions are for breaking, you know? So I stopped doing them a really long time ago. What I've started to do, at least for the last 5 years or so, is I pick a theme for the year. So something that I really want to work on about myself, that I want to be my running theme throughout the year. So whenever I'm challenged or I'm struggling and I don't know how to do things, I sort of look to my theme and I try to get through that challenge using that theme. So I've used quite a few. For some reason, I've started with using the letter F as my yearly theme. So I've done forgiveness, I've done focus, I've done a few others. I think I'd like to probably talk a little bit more about this piece in a whole episode, probably by itself. But in any case, this year's word was float. And so I'm trying my best to float through this discomfort and not fight it along the way. So kind of knowing that this discomfort comes with me every year, this change of season, this change of clothing, and as childish as it may seem to other people, it's very real for me. And so can I just float with it? Can I say, okay, today I can wear, you know, this or that or whatever. So today I was able to put jeans on. Yay, me. You know, I'll probably take them off as soon as I'm done with this video, but I got them on. And so it's like, okay, I can find these compromises. I can wear really comfortable tops to balance off my really uncomfortable bottom right now. Things like that. So yeah, I'm trying to float with it, but I'm also thinking about next year, like what's going to be my next year about? You know I have some heavy duty travel coming up, and then we have the holidays, and that's very stressful for me. But after that, you know, what do I see for my next year? And what's my F word going to be? What's my, you know, my theme going to be? What are the things I'd like to manifest for the next year? What are the things that I'd like to put my energy towards? And what are the things that I don't want to put my energy towards anymore? What are the things that I'm done with? What are the things that are making my soul tired? What are the things that are, I don't know, eating away at energy that I'd rather use for something else, right? That's also what I use this time for. Like, hey, the year went by. Let me look at the year. Did my word work for me? And if it did, you know, what things out of this year didn't work? And what are the things where I look at my life today and say, man, no, I don't want to do that anymore. So that's kind of what I'm going to be using these next couple of months for. I sort of alluded to it in the last video when I was talking about how the travel is something I want to try to ease out of my life. Now that I'm living somewhere that I don't really want to leave. So that's something those are big on my thoughts. That's something I want to work on. And so I've just started to think about those things. So I guess with today's video, I want to say to you, you know, what are some of your struggles of this time of the year? What, you know, as you look at November and December, what are some of the things that challenge you at this time of year? What has your year looked like? What have you done that you think made great improvements that you want to keep next year? What are some things you'd like to change for next year? And sort of encouraging you to come into January really strong. That's what I like to do. I mean, we spend a lot of time with family and that kind of stuff in the next few months. So spend a little time with yourself in that time and think about what you want next year to be different, and what about it you want to be different rather, and what you want next year to look like. Now's a good time to think about it. And to start planning, because January is going to get here. It really is. And I hope I'm ready for 2019. I want to be ready as I can be. So I've been thinking about those things. So yeah, so share with me some of the things maybe you're thinking about next year, some of the things that you find challenging, some of the things that might scare you but you do want to change. Maybe we can work it out together. I know there's some stuff that I like sharing with you guys, because even as I talk about it, I'm able to work through some of it. So I'd love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you next week on Becca's Backyard.